I got nearly 6 million views on a reel on Instagram, and I gotta answer some questions. So a couple of weeks, even a couple of months ago, I posted a reel on Instagram, and that went viral. So I got nearly, I'm gonna hit 6 million views, and it's got a lot of likes and a lot of comments. And in the beginning, I tried to answer all the comments, but that was soon just not possible anymore. Also, I'm gonna link the video up here, so if you don't know what I'm talking about the thing I built in that video. I also have that on YouTube. Funny enough, on YouTube it had only 70 views, but Instagram, you only have short videos to answer questions, so I decided I'll make a YouTube video. I'm going to subdivide that into chapters, so check the description on what's happening here. First, I thought I'd talk a little bit about my motivation. Once a year, I have to cut my hedge. That is about 30 meters long, and I have to lift the hedge cutter all the way over my head and then just walk along the hedge. And that's a really strenuous process, and I thought, oh man, isn't there a way just to make this easier? So I had the idea to build this thing. So when I had my wife record this video, I put music over it. I thought it may be funny. I realize it's funny, but actually I was serious about that. That really makes my life a bit simpler, a bit easier, and that's why I built it. A question I got a lot of times, or a couple of times, is why did you use a lawnmower as a base for this thing? So why didn't you just make something with wheels yourself? Why did you use that? That's pretty simple, because I have an electric lawnmower, and yeah, that one was broken. And at the time the lawnmower was broken, I already thought about this and said, well, let's not throw it away yet. I got a new one, but this is the perfect thing to use it as a base for my hedge cutter, if you so will. So I use that. That's the only reason. The most reaction I got is towards the stability of the contraption. It is a lawnmower base, and it has this large wooden turret on it, and the hedge cutters on top of that. So, and it's swaying from left to right a little bit. So it's not the most stable thing, and that's something a lot of people said. Oh, that's unstable, really? Yeah, that's if that falls, and if it falls towards you, it will kill you. A hedge cutter will cut your head off and whatnot. So towards that, it is a bit unstable. Yes, it is. Truly, I can't deny that. But if the center of gravity is pretty low, so it may sway a bit, but it's not. It won't topple over that quickly. The center of gravity is quite low. Having said that, the lawnmower base is something. It's a rectangle where the wheels are. So if it's gonna fall, it's gonna fall to the side. It is never, and I'm absolutely sure of this, it will never fall towards me, because the center of gravity is pretty low, and if it falls, it may fall, of course, but then it falls to the side, right? Okay, the worst thing that can happen then is that my hedge cutter will be broken. That's a risk I'll have to take. Together with that question, the next question was, well, if it falls towards you, which it won't, the thing will still be running. It'll kill you instantly. So, like I said, yeah, it's gonna fall to the side, not toward me. And you know your electric lawnmowers, they have some sort of dead man switch. So you push the switch, and then you turn the lever. And as soon as you let go, thing is turned off immediately. I think that's a necessity lawnmowers have to have in the EU. I'm not sure, but that's towards safety. If I let go of the handle, and when that thing falls, I will eventually let go, right? And then it immediately turns off. So, yeah, it's not gonna cut. It's not gonna cut me in half. Definitely not. Another question I got is the build time. Say, oh man, the time it took you to build that thing, you could have cut the hedge 3 times. And yeah, that's true, but you gotta keep in mind, I built this once, and I'm gonna reuse it again and again. And cutting the top of the hedge by hand in the way I did before takes about 5 to 10 times as long. It takes me just about, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes for the 30 meters. I just have to slowly push the cart along the hedge, and then it cuts. So yes, initially it will take longer to build the thing, but that kind of pays off in the coming years. Another set of comments were, well, you have to have a level ground, so because the cut will be absolutely parallel to the ground. And yes, that's true, but in my case, I had that beforehand. That's why I got the idea to build that, because I had a level space before the hedge. I built that myself a couple of years ago, and I thought I could utilize that, because yeah, if there's a bump in the ground, I'll have a bump in the hedge. So yeah, surely that's right. But in my case, I know the ground was level, or relatively level, so I'm gonna do that. The next set of comments was actually quite funny. It says this thing will never be allowed by the TÜV, and you got to know the TÜV is a technical inspection board for cars. Not sure. I think in Great Britain it's the MOT, and I'm not sure if the US have a similar thing, but it basically is a government agency telling you, okay, this car is safe to drive. In Germany, we have to do this every 2 years. You have to show the car, and then right. And TÜV also here in Germany is also inspects other things that are used in a wide variety of instances. And that's actually quite funny. I don't need TÜV because I'm not going to drive this this lawnmower anywhere in public. I'm just going to use it once a year and privately and on the way. So I don't want to sell it. So if you feel that's a nice idea, just build it. So I don't need that. The same thing goes for the Employers Association. Somebody said the Employers Association would never ever have you do that or allow this, and they said, well, I'm not employed. I'm not a gardener. I'm doing this for myself. So if you are a gardener, that probably applies, but it doesn't apply to me. And besides that, I think professional gardening companies, they have something like this which is certified. I assume. I don't think I came up with this idea. Nobody else has. I just don't think so. Insurance. Somebody said, oh, if something happens, the insurance will not cover this. This is so dangerous. And yeah, well, yeah. Is it dangerous? Yeah. Well, I guess it's just about as dangerous as anything else. So if I cut the hedge in a conventional way and I have a ladder, which I have to go up a couple of steps, cut, go down the ladder, and go up the ladder again. I mean, I can fall off the ladder. So, I think with the dead man switch, and I think that's relatively safe. So it's anyway, if something goes wrong, it's always a matter of lawyers or people. Nowadays, it seems like most things are resolved only not by common sense, but only by judges. So, yeah. Will the insurance cover it if something happens? I don't know. But I took every necessary precaution I could. So another comment was, well, how do you set the size? And that's really something. Yeah, you can probably, if you like, you can do something like that. But my hedge has reached the size I want to keep it at. So I have a fixed size, and every year I cut it, I know it'll be the same size, and that's fine for me. So it's probably easier to build something like this when you reach the end size of your hedge. So, and then I got a few comments on improvements. I was really people who really thought about that. And the one improvement I'm gonna do is the thing is a little bit wobbly on the turret, but that can be if I have a crossbeam from the turret to the handle where I'm pushing it, that might reduce that, and that's a pretty good idea, and I'm gonna do that. Yeah. The other tip I got is, hey, why don't you build something to remove the cut branches, the stuff that now lies on top of the hedge. So you could cut it and on the other side rake it right behind that. Yeah, I could do that, but in all honesty, having it easier cutting is enough for me. I'll just rake it down, and I don't have to lift the heavy hedge cutter, so raking it down will work for me. But if you want to rebuild this, go ahead, tag me any way you can, rebuild it, and then post it. I really think that's cool. Yeah, and finally, my experience. I had this contraption for 2 or 3 years. I've been using this 2 or 3 years. Just now, I said, well, why not just make a quick video and upload it and then see what happens. I know it's kind of funny, so let's make a video. And yeah, it blew up. It really blew up. And yeah, that's I think, why did it blow up? I think it got so much attention because you know, you can have outdoor content or you have computer content, and yeah, all sorts of things. But a lot of people can just relate to the problem I had, and that's once a year you have to cut it, and it's just really a way, how can I make my life simpler? And that was it. So that was it for the frequently asked questions. So I hope that answers it, or inspires you to build one yourself. You're responsible for your own safety, of course, but I personally, I'm pretty satisfied with this thing, and I'm going to use it again next year and the year after that, and yeah. So, see you on the next one. Bye.